Imagine combining a home builder who for 36 years has led the Portland metro area in quality, oftentimes in even quantity as well. He's won award after award. Imagine that person that leads that company who also is on some of the biggest stages for professional bodybuilding. And that same person has done multiple Ironman Triathlons. Those three typically don't go together. You're going to get from Randy in this episode highlights on the market, but you're also going to get into the mind of Randy, of what inspired him and drives him to accomplish such amazing things. Enjoy this episode. It will no doubt help you to think bigger and expand your possibilities. Welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddart. Absolutely thrilled today to bring you a true leader in our industry, someone who has really been the voice of construction within the Portland market, builds a home that people aspire to live in. And I'm grateful to have Mr. Randy Sebastian with us here today. Randy, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, total pleasure, man. It's interesting. Before I dive into that, let me just remind people that there are, we're living at a time where some people don't want to be on social media, right? We've got a lot of kind of polarizing stuff happening. I want to make a commitment to everybody here that within the Think Bigger Real Estate group, we're not going to get into the stuff that causes people to not like each other. We're only talking about stuff that helps you to grow your mindset, stuff that helps you to expand your possibilities. So please stay tuned. If you're not yet a member of the Think Bigger Real Estate group, get in there. It's going to be a safe place where you can continue to grow your business, grow your mindset, while at the same time, keeping positive about everything that's going on in the world. So Randy, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about your background. You've been doing this for 36 years. I know you're highly respected. I live in one of your homes. I love your homes. Everywhere I go, when people says, oh, it's a Renaissance home, people look at it totally differently. You really ought to know that. And I know that's not foreign to you to understand that, but it's true. You've really built a reputation over 36 years of building a superior quality product. I want to thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Thanks for the comments. Yes.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about, you started 36 years ago. Now, just so everybody knows what we're going to be talking about on this show, we're going to go into kind of how Randy started what he started. We're going to then talk about what's happening in the market. We want to hear kind of Randy's feedback on that. And then we're going to get into the mind of Randy Sebastian. For those that don't know, he's a triathlete, right? He's also a bodybuilder, like renowned bodybuilder. So we're going to get into the mindset of how he does stuff, not just in the building world, but outside of that. So stay tuned for the whole episode. So Randy, you started this company 36 years ago. Did you know that it was going to become what it's now become? Did you have that vision in your mind, that aspiration?
I had no idea. I mean, people don't know this, but in 1984, Portland was not a place to be. It was not cool. I was 20 and all my friends were going, I was kind of screwing around going to Portland State for a little bit and working in a gym. I had, believe it or not, when I was 18, I started a little food truck business. So it was Hawaiian shaved ice. We all love that. So I did Hawaiian shaved ice I had all the contracts, believe it or not, for the whole state from all the county fairs. And so I did that, and I had a shop downtown Portland. And so I learned a little bit about business just through my shaved ice business when I was in 18, 19 years old. So I knew enough, but I knew I wanted obviously to do more because Hawaiian shaved ice is a summer event, right? And so what do you do the rest of the year? So I was working in a gym over on 82nd and Foster, of all places, and a guy rolls in a 1984 Corvette, my Meg. And I knew him. He was 24. I was 20, and he was driving a brand new Corvette that year. And in 1984 in Portland, Oregon, everybody was broke. We were all driving beat up old Toyota pickups. And I'm like, so what do you do? And he goes, I build houses. Like, you what? And he told me how great it was. And it was like, okay, I got to get in this home building thing. I got to do that. And also during summers, I worked, my cousin was a builder, and I was his labor. I would, stack forms and help, build foundations and pack lumber. I was the lumber packer guy, and I knew enough about it, but I knew I didn't like it at the time.
And you probably didn't know that by doing that, you'd end up driving a beautiful Corvette. You're right. Like those two things didn't go together.
I had no idea. Like, wow, everybody I know that's a builder's broke and you're doing this. He goes, no, I buy land and I buy lots and I hire all the guys and then I have an agent that sells them. And he goes, it's really great. I'm like, okay, that's all I need to know. The next day I drove to Salem and said, I want to be a builder. What do I do? They go, well, bring a bond back. And I knew enough about business because I had a bond for my shaved ice business and brought a bond bond back the next day and filled out paperwork, and I got a builder's license. And like, okay, then I sold my little shaved ice business, and I had enough money, $20,000, believe it or not. That's a lot of money back then. And I bought a lot in Southeast Portland on 126th and Holgate for 14 grand. And then it's like, okay, now what? I got a lot, now what? And my cousin told me about a designer got a house designed, and it was just a little 1-level, 1,000-foot house, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage, and learned on that house and sold it before it was done. And then the guy that bought it, his brother wanted a house, but he wanted 2 baths and 2-car garage. So I figured that out and built only 1-level homes for the first year because I couldn't understand the 2-storyness. No, literally, I taught myself how to do it with really good subcontractors. But every time we did, it was always whatever framer you want to use the best framer, whatever roofer that was the best roofer. I always thought, if I use the best of everybody, I'm gonna have the best house. And I learned that I just figured that out at 20, and that's always been. So any home that was built in 1994, the best subs in 1994 are on that. I mean, it just say 2004 and 2014. I mean, just all over. So we built this. I've had, I think, 400 employees and thousands of subcontractors work on our homes. And it's all about the house. It's all about what's best for the house. And if you think that way, what's best, what's right, it works. There's no cutting corners. There's no, your house was used with an inferior framer or an inferior finish carpenter. No, we don't do that, and so that's that was philosophy from day one, is just use really good workers and really good materials, and learn and get better and better and better, and listen to clients, listen to the market, and at some point, you'll end up on top, and that's where we're at. And we've been here for years.
A couple points I want to make for anybody that's listening here. Like, one nugget of wisdom on being a big thinker is that you saw an opportunity and you decided, and the next day you were headed to Salem getting your bond. I think oftentimes people that want to have a successful life, that want to build a successful business, whether it be in real estate or building or whatever, right, is that there's a lot of time spent thinking about it, preparing for it. Whereas the achievers of the world say, I know what I want, and they go do it, right? And I just see a common theme in your story there, that you made the decision, whether it was a shaved ice business or whether it was a building business, whether it was going and buying a lot, whether it was, continue to expand. Like there's just this continual theme that Randy identifies. That's what I want. And he goes and he gets it. It's impressive.
Thank
you. I'm living in one of your homes right now. We had this conversation before. It was built in 2003. We're doing some updates, some remodels, and it's been really interesting. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I was a high-end home builder in another state for about 6 years, and actually went through a construction management program. And it's been interesting as I've been under the house that you built, been up in the attic, the house you built. I'll just attest that this is a higher quality home than most homes. There's more concrete, like it's just structurally more sound. The stuff that, oftentimes you'll see homes and they've got beautiful finishes, but you start to get underneath them, you start to get, in and around them, and they're not, I don't know if lipstick on a pig is the right word, but it's just, it's a beautiful facade. Whereas the core of the house isn't as good or as strong as it could be. And to your point of, we use the best materials, the best people, that was your philosophy from day one. I can attest to that, right? I'm seeing it. I know enough to be dangerous as far as what I'm looking for. And I've been, and I can see it firsthand that you guys really build a quality home. So for any of you out there that are wanting to represent a great builder, get your clients into a good home, a solid home that's going to truly stand the test of time. Obviously the word Renaissance and Renaissance Homes has a reputation that precedes itself, but just know that from another builder that really has not a dog in the fight, right? I could say whatever, I can think whatever I want. I don't have to say this part of it, but I will put my kind of stamp of approval that you guys build great homes. So.
Yeah, it's funny, as beautiful as they are, and the floor plans are so functional, and everything's, they're just built for longevity.
Yeah.
But really the core, as you said, what we do under the sheetrock, under the siding, under the ground, people never know that, and they don't even know how overbuilt these homes are. But we know, we know, and that's why we do it. And it's super rewarding to know that house is going to stand forever. And 20, 30, 40 years from now, somebody's not going to go in and remodel it and go, oh my God, look at what they did. I mean, no, it's more like, yeah, I mean, everything's kiln dried, you know, and then we do the rain screen siding. It's an extra $5,000 a house, but I've not had, since 2003, I've not had one house leak at all. There's no leaking. No.
Yeah. In a state like Oregon, that matters, right?
Totally.
Let's talk about the market, Randy. You obviously keep your finger on the pulse, very carefully. I often kind of watch what you guys are doing and recognize there's probably some forecasting and some trends that you're watching that are causing you to do what you're doing. What are you seeing now, right? Our primary audience are real estate industry professionals, everything from, real estate agents, mortgage loan officers, title and escrow professionals, home builders. What can you tell us about what you're seeing in the market right now, and even what you would expect to see over the next year or so?
I think everybody's looking to upgrade their living situation. If you're in an apartment, you want a bigger apartment. You're in a bigger apartment, you might want a townhome. You're in a townhome, you want a bigger townhome, or you want to go to your first house, and then you want your house that's maybe it's a little too small. We've all spent more time in our homes, right? And then you want a bigger yard, or you want to make your yard better, or you want, and so we're seeing really a migration, and it's really. People think I'm genius. I think I'm a lot of times lucky where, we in the last crash, right? We're not in a crash currently, but the big crash for all of us, 2008, 9, 10.
Yeah.
We went from doing 300 lot developments to doing 1-by-1 homes in Portland, and everybody like, oh, that's brilliant. Well, we had to because banks aren't lending, and the subdivision game was really off for years and years and years. So we went into the city where we got really good at building homes in mass, scattered lot builder. I mean, that's a lot. It's a completely change of philosophies from doing huge mass subdivisions to spot lots everywhere, but it was my background, so I knew how to do it, and we've gotten really good at it. So we became the number one builder in the city of Portland, still are. And then we went from that, we started really in our office in Lake Oswego, and we got to be the number one builder in Lake Oswego. And now we're doing customs, and we do customs from basically, we won't go into Vancouver, but we go Columbia River down to Salem, McMinnville out to Hood River, and we're building custom homes. We design, and we do the whole table to farm to table, the whole thing on with the custom homes, and people are loving that. But it's for us, you're asking where the market's going. I think that's where it is. I think, believe it or not, there are people moving to Portland. People are like, oh, Portland's, it's being, the city of Portland's being overrun. There are spots, right? But it's an amazing place to be, and it's wonderful. And we're on the West Coast. We have people coming in from Portland, but from other places to Portland, and we sold 1 and 2 in Portland this week. And so that's great. Obviously, Lake Oswego, a lot of people want to be in LO, and a lot of people want to be, they want some space. They want to get out, and they might want their own well. They want their own area if they can afford it to, 3, 4, 5 acres, And so that's what we're seeing. Just everybody's upgrading their thought of homes. For a long time, people would say, well, I really don't want to be housebroke. I really want to travel. I really, I want to, do a lot of other things. And now what's going on is people are, well, hold on. I spend so much time in my house. I'm working out at my house now. My office is my house. I'm entertaining in my house. I really want to upgrade my home environment. And so that's what really the market's about. It's like everything's just upgrading. People just want better. And again, they may be just sitting at their house in Northeast, and they love their neighborhood, and they don't want to go anywhere, but they want to make that house better. And I get that too. So that's what I'm saying. It's really a resurgence of home, with everyone.
Yeah, boy, I couldn't agree more. The conversations I've had both inside and outside of inside and outside of our industry, that before, home oftentimes was a place just to touch base, right? To sleep.
Yeah.
And people wanted to be in the city because that's where all the action was at. And they were traveling, like you said, but now all of a sudden, when home has to be, maybe like a home office, maybe 2 home offices, maybe a school, right? Yeah. I know that's part of the reason why we're doing the updates that we are, is, we've got 6 kids, and all of a sudden now we're looking at homeschooling, right? That would have never crossed my mind, never in a million years, right? But all of a sudden, School systems are now saying your kids are going to be in front of a computer all day. And it's like, you know what? I don't know that that's the best education for them. Right.
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of families right now are rethinking what life's going to look like and how they can provide the best life for themselves and for their family. And that obviously is it's completely connected to the shelter in which they live, right? That now with people not being able to travel like they once were, and I don't think COVID's going to be here forever, right? We'll get through this. It'll be a different world when we come out the other side of it. But I 100% agree with you that home has taken the forefront in everybody's minds right now because we're spending so much time there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it
you
works
would
for us in our industry, certainly, right?
Yeah, it does. And I think we had a conversation about a week ago that whether people love Portland and want to come here because of what they believe Portland stands for, or maybe they want out of here because they don't like what's happening in Portland, right? Either way, I think those of us in the real estate industry benefit, right? I think you made the point of like, you know what? We get paid when people move their house, like when people move, like that's a good thing. That's a positive thing for those of us in this industry, right?
Yeah, exactly. Portland's a liberal city, and it's now worldwide famous because of what happened, and a lot of people want to move here because of that. Mm-hmm. Honestly, so yeah. It's okay. It's good.
Yeah, and you've got some that are on the other end of the spectrum that that want out, and I think to your point, rather than getting caught up, right? Whether you're a real estate agent and you're listening to this of getting caught up on side, just realize like we're here to provide a service to people, to help them get the home that they want, whether it's here or somewhere else.
Totally.
And be in a good mood about that is that our industry is stronger than any other industry out there. And I think and so from your perspective, you foresee that you're bullish about the market moving forward into 2021 and beyond.
Absolutely. Home building, Portland real estate, Portland metro real estate is in a growth pattern. It's in a growth pattern. We're not going backwards.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about outside of business now. Obviously, you aren't your typical home builder, right? We've talked about how that shows up with the actual product that you produce. But outside of having a very active, robust business, you're out doing Ironman Triathlons. You're out in bodybuilding competitions. Talk to us a little bit about kind of the mindset behind that. What's the why behind that?
I've always been an athlete, high school, wrestled, played football, even did bodybuilding shows in high school. And then at 20, started building houses and really quit training, I had a home gym. I, hit it like most people casually and just focused hard on building homes. And so then at age 35, year 2000, I thought, you know what, I'm going to start training more. I was doing, and not a slam on golfing, but I was golfing too much. I thought, this isn't really good for my physique. I'm going to quit golf. I'm going to quit the Oregon Golf Club, and I'm going to join a place called Club Sport. So I quit golfing and started and hired a trainer and started going to Club Sport training. And after about 6 years, someone who knows a lot about bodybuilding says, you should step on stage again and compete. And I'm like, wow, if you think I should compete, maybe I should compete. And so I stepped on stage down in Southern Oregon at Seven Feathers, and I won the show. I'm like, whoa, okay, this feels pretty good. This was 2006, right? Just before the crash. And then crash happens, and it was just, horrible. And then like 2011, I'm like, you know what? I can't control the market. I can't control business. I survived barely, but what I can control is my health. And I always thought about being an Ironman, like that just is not even humanly possible. How can you even do that? And I was at an Ironman race in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and there was a bunch of people around, and I was sitting around, and somebody goes, "Oh, you're a bodybuilder. You can never do an Ironman." I go, and I sit in front of a bunch of people. I'm doing an Ironman, and there's a guy that was a really good Ironman coach. I go, "James, can you make me an Ironman?" He goes, "You bet." So I said to probably 20 people, I'm going to do this. And so once you say it, right, you don't want to be a liar. So I started training. And in 2011, I did my first Ironman in Arizona. It was full. And what an Ironman is, a triathlon where you have 17 hours and a couple thousand people who do it once. So you're not doing it alone. The gun goes off at 7 a.m. and it goes off at 7, and you swim 2.4 miles. Come out of this, get done swimming 2.4 miles, strip your wetsuit off, get on your bike kit, and do a 112-mile bike race. Then you get off the bike, and then you run a full marathon, 26 miles. And you have until midnight to get it done. So you have 17 hours. So 16 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. And it's quite a deal. And it's life-changing for most people. And so I did my first one and thought, you know what? A bodybuilder can do this. And then I also did a bunch of bodybuilding shows around the Northwest during that time. And then did a second Ironman in Cabo, Mexico in 2013. It's reported to be one of the hardest races in the history of Ironman, and only 48% finished, over 52 didn't, and I finished. And because of that, I was invited to go to Melbourne, Australia to do the Pan-Pacific Championships in Melbourne, Australia of Ironman. And so I did that. I was in Melbourne, and so I did that, and that was great. And I thought, okay, I've got 3-time Ironman. Now I'm going to focus on bodybuilding more. And I became a national ranked, I guess, bodybuilder. And so now I compete nationally. And in fact, in three weeks from now, I'll be in Pittsburgh, stepping on stage at the North American Championships. And it's a pro qualifier. So who knows, maybe I'll get my pro card, which is a big deal in bodybuilding. It's a very hard thing to get. So trying to do that as well. So
talk to us about this first triathlon. I don't want to say, was there a point? At what point did you say, this is crazy? Like in your head where you're like questioning your sanity of like, what am I doing? I'm a bodybuilder. I'm a home builder. Like I look at these guys that are winning these triathlons and they look the exact opposite of Randy Sebastian, right? They literally have no meat on their bones. And here's you, right? Like bodybuilder out here doing this. Did you ever think in your mind, like, I don't belong here? Like, what am I doing?
Oh no, I'm absolutely the freak out there. People are like, what are you doing here? You know, like the perfect Ironman is, 6 feet, 165 pounds. And, I'm 6 feet, 250 pounds. And so, but I had so many people saying there's no way that muscle could, your heart, you can't fuel that much muscle to get it done. You won't get it done. I had so many people saying that, and even people that were pro Ironman people, like, there's no way. We've never seen anybody. So that's kind of the beauty of it. It's like no one that looks like this does this. In fact, when I get my pro card here, I'll be the only pro bodybuilder that's a full Ironman ever in the world. I mean, no one's done it before. So that'll be kind of a cool thing. I'm trying to get that. But yeah, I think the big thing was just so many people saying, like anything, you're told you can't do it. It's like, no, I'm going to show you guys. So
did you start to question when you're in the water, right? Or you're on the bike or you're running a marathon, did you start to be like, maybe they were right? Did those thoughts go in your head at all?
Not at all. Not at all. I knew, because I've done the portions. I knew how much time I had for the swim.
Yeah.
And you've got to watch. And I'm really good on the bike. I'm an animal on the bike. And then I hate running. I hate running. And so I kind of figured out, okay, get through the swim. I'm a beast in the water, and the rougher the water, the better, because I just push people out of the way and I just go. You get swum over or you swim over people. That's what happens. And I push people out. I mean, it's like rugby in the water, right? And so that, and then on the bike, I just smoke people. It's like I'm like a bowling ball, because it's windy typically on the courses. And so can a bowling ball cut through the wind faster than a paper mache ball? Well, of course a bowling ball can't. So I just lock down, get in the tri position and in the arrow position for 5 hours and just pump hard and keep the watts up and smoke it. Then that gives me plenty of time to kind of jog, hobble, walk, kind of run a very messy Ironman, or a marathon, and get it done. I get in before midnight, so that's the goal. So I make it.
So for you, part of the fuel in doing what you've done were the naysayers. It was people saying, "Look, this isn't for you." And I would imagine there's real estate agents, there's mortgage loan officers, there's builders, there's people in title that are saying, that have people saying you can't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like sure. That's like, you don't belong there, just like they were saying to you, right? And so having that, rather than listening to that, you turn it around and use it as fuel. You're like, you know what? I'm going to show you.
In fact, we can go back on that, Justin. We go back to 1984 when I announced I'm going to build a house. People are like, hold on. people are leaving Portland. We have negative migration. People are leaving here. No, there's no immigration, and real estate is dropping. This is stupid. I know people that went bankrupt building houses, and you're going to do it. Like, all I need is one person. One person. I think I can add. I added all this, and mind you, that house was $34,000, 34 grand. That I can find somebody that could buy a brand new home in Portland, Oregon for 34,000, and I did, and many more after that. So yeah, it's so many times if in your head you can do something, and people then say, well, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. You just prove them wrong. I mean, just start grinding.
I think the beautiful thing about what you've done and what you continue to do is that you're not stopping, right? I think a life well lived is one that's, I like to say that's has this forward lean towards their potential. They're constantly discovering the potential that's inside of them and untapping that and leaning towards that and moving towards that. And, just because you did your first Ironman, it wasn't like, okay, check that off the box, I'm never going back. It was like, what's next? Right? Now I want to get my pro card. I think it's an inspiring, you're an inspiring story, not just from a business standpoint, but from a fitness standpoint, but just a mindset standpoint of like the way to live is just go for stuff. And it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm sure the training that you're doing now, the diet that you're doing right now, there's probably things that you'd rather be eating. There's things that you'd rather be doing than spending the time doing the work. But that's the beauty of the way that you're living, right? Is that it's really with a kind of a different mindset, and as a result, a different outcome.
Right. And then the rewards are huge. You're sacrificing, but you can walk around in a super, hero body, and you can compete at, I'm 56. At 56 years old, I'm competing, doing things that I dreamt to do when I was in my 20s and 30s. Like, I'm on stage competing against the best bodybuilders in the nation. I'm one of those guys. Wow. And, have, my beats on, listening, getting pumped up behind stage. I mean, at 56 years old doing that kind of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. It's fun. I mean, to me, and I never, ever really talk about age other than, I happen to be 56 years old, but I never, make excuses or anything. You just fuel your body with as much good nutrition and train as well. And just, it's all about your health. And so many people get so caught up in the money aspect of life that you've got to be more than your money. Yeah. Money gives people freedom and gives you the ability to help others and do good things. But it's really, honestly, the core of happiness is health, really. It's just being healthy, being able to just enjoy good food and good activities. And I think that's what centers all of us. Certainly
That's awesome,
yeah.
It's good stuff. I'm fascinated by your story. Again, I would imagine that these things that you learned, whether it was out in an Ironman, that all of that's come back to benefit your business, right? That you come into the building industry now with a different, stronger mindset, knowing that, boy, I can do what other people said nobody could do. I'm sure that shows up back with the people that you lead in your company, right? With customers that you serve, that those two, once you push yourself in one area, you're that person now, and you can't not have that same person show up in other realms, right? Whether for good or bad, right? For good or evil. But the fact that when you can kind of launch yourself into a new level of success and achievement, like, it can't help but impact for good your business, right? I would imagine your business has thrived in part because of the lessons that you've learned and the person that you've become through your fitness.
Well, absolutely. And with, I've got 30 amazing employees, and most of my employees have been with me 20 plus years. So they've been through the highs and lows and, roll. And it's awesome. I mean, I say I'm going through life with amazing people at Renaissance Homes. We have such good people, and so creative and so hardworking and so dedicated. And they see me, going through suffering of dieting or training or, whatever, getting an Ironman done or whatever. And that inspires them. And we inspire each other. I mean, our it's unbelievable right now. We're doing all Zoom meetings, and we're so focused and so good. I mean, it's another way to put it. I'm just so proud of everybody I get to work with every day. And what's fun is we create these amazing homes from our heads, from our experiences. I mean, we're not using outside architects, outside designers. We are the architects. We are the designers. We know what the market wants. Our homes flow so well, and they're built so well, and we just continually just keep pushing the envelope. And we just finished about a week ago what will be known as the best design studio in America. We've won it before, and in 2006 we won best design studio in the United States on the NHB contest. And so we're doing the same thing now, and it's in our corporate office, one of the buildings in Lake Oswego that we own, and it's phenomenal. So when clients go there, they can really get a feel for exactly what their house is going to be, and they can make all their selections there. So again, pushing it.
Can't wait to come see it. All right,
yes.
Let's move to the final question of the show, Randy. You are a big thinker, right? That's why you're on the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. We've talked about this already throughout the episode, but I'd love to hear from you, kind of in context of this specific question of what is it that Randy Sebastian does to continue to be a big thinker, to continue to expand your possibilities? What does that look like for you?
I think a word is, I've been unbridled growth. I mean, there was one point where we were doing 300 million in revenue a year. We were the largest builder in Portland out of all the nationals, the locals. We are the number one builder in terms of dollar volume a year. In 2006, I think we did $308 million of new homes, which is nuts. So that was unbridled growth. I had an office in Seattle, had an office in Bend, office here in Lake Oswego. And then that was one way of thinking. Now it's controlled, slow growth. It's growth. It's getting better. It's improving. And there definitely is a governor on it. We keep our company capped at 100 homes, not 250, not 300. We do 8 a month. 8 times 12 is 96, round up to 100. That's what we do. And we just refine that process. We just get better and better. There's only so many homes that we can design that are subcontractors the best ones that we have can build. So yeah, that's what, and then, obviously in your life, you can only do so much. So just do everything you do as good as you can. And it's definitely quality over quantity, really. That's what gets me going every day. And knowing, life's short, I mean, we're not here that long. So let's do as good as we can with what we have, with the people that are in front of us now, and that's more a kind of a learned mindset, I guess, but that's how it is.
It's inspiring, Randy. I love it. I want to thank you so much for what you've contributed and taught us about mindset, about the market, about your background, and about really how to be big thinkers. It's been a great honor to spend some time with you. I want to thank you for that, and appreciate it. Looking forward to continuing the conversation and the relationship. Also, want to remind everybody that's listening here today, if you are a real estate agent and you're looking for, go ahead, Randy, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd like to. There's something that's really good for the real estate industry that people don't know, and I don't put this on social media because it's such a great thing that I do for agents, but I keep it kind of under wraps. But can I interrupt and tell everybody?
Please, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so people are asking. I wanted to get this out. So we'll go maybe over a little later, but a little longer, but this impacts agents. So everybody wonders, well, why do you get the best lots in Lake Oswego? Why do you get the best lots in Portland? Why are you have the best stuff and we get stuff before it even hits the market. How does that work? Well, this is how it works. I've got probably 30 agents, and it could be anybody, but 30 people that routinely do this, and they do some will have 3 or 4 going at once. It's called Plan A. When you find a lot and you're going to list it, or a tear down house, we'll just say it's a tear down house or lot. Say it's in Portland or Lake Oswego, because that's where we build spec homes. But, instead of putting it on the market, I'm going to get a hold of Randy Sebastian or Jeff Schroep at Renaissance and see if they'd be interested. What we do is we buy the lot directly from that agent. We don't bring another agent in, so we buy it directly from them. But then it gets good. They get a 2% referral fee when the house closes.
Oh, wow.
Say it's a $2 million house in LO. They get $40,000 at escrow, guaranteed, closed. There's no They don't have to do it. They don't have to market it. They don't have to hold open houses. They don't have to worry about losing the listing. So many times I hear this all the time. An agent will bring a builder. This happens a lot. Agent brings a builder a lot. Hey, I want the list back. Builder goes, oh, sure. That sounds great. Then a bunch of things happen and they're not good. One is the builder's niece gets a real estate license. Hey, my niece just got this license. I need to help her. I'm the one that encouraged her. So I hope you understand this family. Bam. So then the agent loses the list back on that house, and obviously the commission on the list back of the house. Or the builder doesn't have his act together, can never get financed, never get going. So then he sells a lot to somebody, and because he sold it, he doesn't pay the agent doesn't get anything off that. Or another one is they're all excited about getting going. So, hey, let's get that house listed right when we break ground. So boom. So then the agent lists the house for the builder, well, then, it takes 5-6 months to build a house. The days on the market are killing it. So it's killing the house, not killing a good way, killing in a bad way. So then what you have is a situation where the house is, just finishing up and it's just been an ugly build. The builders kept the house in just horrible condition. And this agent's been expected to sell this house that's had garbage in it for the last 4 months. And now it's done. And the builder goes to the agent, hey, you haven't sold it. It's been listed for 6 months. I got another agent just selling some other property. They say that I need a different approach. So the agent loses the listing. That happens more often than not. With Renaissance Homes, you trust us. We compete. We get it done. We complete the process. Bring us the lot. You get a 2% referral in writing at escrow. You don't have to worry about anything. And like I said, I've got people, some of the top agents in Portland doing this with me, working with me, where, it's just a way for them to leverage themselves. It's like, okay, they've got one home going with Renaissance that they're going to get 40,000 when it closes. And then wait, there's another one they've got going. And so if somebody could do one of these a year with us and they get between $20,000 and $40,000 on a referral, just one, and that's what these houses pay. And people go, why are you so generous, Randy? Why? Well, it's worth the 2% top line referral fee for me to get this great lot that I can do well on. And it's much easier because we have our own open houses, our own salespeople. And so our salespeople know about what lots are coming up. And we've tried having outside agents come to our office for these big, massive sales meetings, and everybody's busy and they've got their own businesses. It's like, hey, you know what? This is just a way for me to be able to work with everybody in Portland and to benefit them financially. They benefit me financially because I get the lots and they get the 2% referral fee. And so it's wildly successful and it works. So that's it. Any of the agents that are thinking about how do I make more money this year, bring Renaissance Homes an off market, something you know about, for sale by owner, something that once it hits the market, then everybody knows, and we have people that are on it. So that door's closed. But before it goes on the market, you have control of it. Bring it to Renaissance. Renaissance buys it from you direct, and then you get a 2% referral fee on the top line. And our average sales price at Renaissance Homes is over $1 million. So it's so you're getting at least $20,000 at closing or up, and you do nothing other than bring me the lot that I buy directly from you.
Yeah, so you paid twice on it. Brilliant model, right? You've essentially empowered agents to be helping you out find the best properties. That's how you guys win, right? You get the best property, you guys build the best home, best property, or best home on the best property, game over. It's just how do you find more of those properties? And you've built an amazing model to empower a bunch of agents. So again, yeah, I love it. Agents, if you're listening to this, you're in the Portland metro area, what a great opportunity for you to to increase your top line by simply going out and finding properties.
Well, and properties, as we know, they're really hard to find. And so you find a piece of property, you want to get paid. I mean, that's a value that you have. So people can conceivably get paid 3 times. They get paid when we buy it directly. We don't bring in an outside agent, and we buy it directly from the agent directly. So they control that. They get the 2% referral fee on the top line. Mm-hmm. But wait, there's more. If they know about it, they sell it. They get a selling commission on that.
Interesting. Yeah.
So there's a 2.7. So I buy directly from them. I mean, so the one site could be pretty profitable for them. I buy directly from them. They get a 2% referral fee, and then they sell it. They get a a 2.7. So there's 4.7 that they can get plus the sale on the lot. So it's, and for me, it works great. I love it. And again, it allows me to work with everybody in town. It's super.
The hat trick. I love it. Randy,
Totally.
awesome stuff. Thanks for that added icing on the cake that we weren't expecting of how agents can really benefit by knowing and working with you. So my final request of everybody listening here today is these 3 simple words, and they are go, think bigger. Randy, thanks so much for helping inspire us to do that both personally as well as professionally. Appreciate you, man, very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.